Join Gator great Shane Matthews every weekday as he brings you all you need to know about your Florida Gators, including news, analysis, and opinions with some of the biggest names in sports. Find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Or watch us live at 8 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
Good morning, live edition of PodUp with Matthews in the morning, coming to you live from the International Diamond Center Studios, locations across the great state of Florida, right there in Celebration Port in the heart of Gator Nation. Go check them out. That is International Diamond Center. Comfort Temp Heating and Air is your #1 local HVAC company. Make sure you give them a call. Comfort Temp is our business. Peace of mind is our promise. Visit them at comforttemp.com. Well, JC today, we'll have Scott Carter from FloridaGators.com. Let's go to the Titan More Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. We're joined by JC. Good morning, JC.
Hey.
Guns up, JC. Guns up.
Man, they look good. Went into Utah, dominated the Utes.
Boy, they got two quarterbacks that can play, man.
Man, the Matador Club went shopping.
Well, those two kids were already on the team.
I know, but they got other players. Look at how their defense played. I haven't seen that in a long time, QB. Haven't seen that in a long time. Let me tell you what else.
I'm changing my pick. They're going to win the Big 12 now.
Yeah, I don't blame you for doing that. They look
That's what you always do.
Well, it's a fluid situation, QB. Nobody knows anything for at least the first month. But what I do know is what I watched in Miami. It
went about exactly how I thought it was going to go.
Yeah, it's nothing that's going to surprise any of us. The guy is clearly in over his head in terms of calling a game, and here's what the brilliant Frank Frangie. This is somebody I follow. We've known for 30 years. I've known Frank for a long time, but I loved his tweet the best. 61 yards passing, 7 first downs, 0 for 13 on third down. He is a horrendously bad offensive coach, and DJ Lagway is a very poor passer who has no business starting at this level. And the question becomes, well, we already know that Billy's likely a lame duck right now, but the question is going to be timing. That's going to be the question. Kjol Kublik, who goes on, he's a former Auburn player. He goes on the SEC network. I mean, he's dead on. 141 yards is the fewest in a football game for Florida since 1999, and they failed to reach 10 points for the first time since 2022. It is just, there's nothing you can do in the next 2 weeks, in my mind, other than just play different players, some different players that's going to change anything, QB. And so at this point, what has he got to lose by throwing Tramel Jones out there for a little bit? And I don't care about how much money is DJ's getting paid. I don't care about how many houses his family's had bought for them. None of that matters at this level. You have to either win games or lose games, and either keep a job or lose a job. And I think when we talk about the stubborn attitude of taking an offensive coordinator, and nobody's going to come down here right now when they know that.
But again, let me just stop you there. It doesn't matter. Here's what my thoughts. It doesn't
matter. I'm saying that.
Right. I mean, we could talk about all of it. Nothing's going to change. Okay. We are who we are.
Well, you can play some different players. That's something.
I agree. I totally agree with that. But the game, regardless of play calling and timeouts or any of that stuff, the game was won and lost at Miami, like we said, going in the trenches.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it was an ass whipping. There's no other way to put it.
That's right.
I couldn't believe what I was watching.
Yeah. Well, we talked about how that was a bad matchup.
Yeah. It was a terrible matchup for us.
You and Gino Toretta went on and on about the new offensive line for Miami and the defensive edge rushing that they had, Ruben Bain and these players. I mean, they just shut the door down. And I feel bad for the fans who went through that, but they made the choice. So, I mean, you can support your team all you want, but if you're not going to get upset about what you see, then that's fine. If you are going to get upset by what you see, then realize that what you're seeing is not going to change unless people change.
That's true, but nothing will change until next year. Nothing. Because I got a bunch of tweets on here, like this one's from on the Titan More text line.
Yeah.
Tweet a text. Has Napier run DJ Lagway? I would say no. Look, this just take any school, right, JC?
Yeah.
When people, fans, whoever, start calling people generational this, generational that, I don't know where that term comes from, right? Because they look at like how big a guy is, what he does on the field for a few games. When I look at generational players in college football, it's Herschel Walker.
That's right. Bo
It's Tim
Jackson.
Tebow. And not because Tim was a
Right.
generational quarterback. He was a generational damn great
Player.
football player.
Football player. Yeah.
The most generational, if you want to go generational, the most generational quarterback we've ever had here is Danny Werfel. Okay. He ain't generational because of this unique size, arm strength, and all this stuff. He just freaking played his ass off and was good. Okay.
Very good.
So, and I think sometimes Gator fans, and like I said, this is not just a Gator deal we're talking here. There are so many good quarterbacks around America that were hardly even recruited, is what I don't know where I'm going with this, but if you look at the Texas Tech quarterbacks, JC, both of them that played, both of them, you know who they remind me of? And I've seen them play. They're Johnny Manziel made all over, both of them.
Yeah, that guy
but the generational term is so overused, it's so ridiculous.
Well,
you can't say somebody's generational until you watch their career, and then you can say they're damn generational.
Well, who are we talking about as generational?
Everybody in the Gator Nation said, well, I'd say about 85 to 90% were DJ's a generational quarterback.
It's a small sample size to make that assessment.
You can't make that assessment until after they're done playing, in my point.
Well, yeah, it's certainly not after 7 games before this year. So
Right.
What do you have? 7 games before this year started, or 8 or something?
6 or 7, something like that. Rod says here on
That's
YouTube,
ridiculous.
by Plum, and Joey Aguilar is the best QB, and he might be. I said it last summer. I said people get all enamored because of these highly recruited, highly paid kids, but Tennessee became a much better team as soon as Nico left. It didn't matter if JC was playing quarterback.
It's true. I mean, they changed the way the game is played when you have a guy that is forcing the action. And Missouri found him a little quarterback. He's not killing the stat sheet, but boy, he's keeping them.
There's a lot of things that go into playing quarterback.
Yeah, sure.
That the people don't see. Just
Yeah.
How do they compete? Are they a competitor?
Yeah.
Do they make the players around them better?
Yeah.
I would say this too, and I was worried about this, and I know we have a great receiving core, but losing Chim DK and Elijah Badger last year are killing us.
Oh, it's killing us. And QB, there has to be some give and take here. What you're saying is right, but before the year started, everybody talked to me before the season about, hey, we could have beaten Georgia if DJ didn't get hurt, or if DJ was healthy, they would have, run through.
You don't know that.
Yeah. Well, no, we don't know that, but we thought he was a different player than what we are seeing right now. Now, this is not just a sophomore slump. This is an example of somebody that just didn't work in the offseason, that did not work in the fall, that did not work in the spring, and he looks like a deer in the headlights out there, QB.
Yeah,
and it's
way too fast.
It's really unfortunate because that's not quite the guy we saw last year. The guy we saw last year did elevate some of the players around him because of the way they won at the end of the season, where he got the majority. Well, it got all snaps. But what is the harm right now in letting Tramel Jones give it a shot at Florida Field against Texas? And I know it goes against all of the conventional wisdom about why, but you can't keep doing what you're doing. We said this 2 weeks ago. This is pathetic. 7 first downs, 0 for 13 on third down, 141 freaking yards. They didn't play the 75 Dolphins the other night, okay? They played a bunch of guys that are very good, but come on, that's not even competitive.
You know what's interesting?
Now the defense, on the other hand, let me give the defense a little credit.
They played their tails off.
Played their butts off and really competed. But go ahead. What was your thought? I'm sorry.
I don't know if I've ever watched a college football game where there was never a ball between both teams attempted more than 25 yards down the field. Think about that.
Yeah.
Not one.
Yeah. There was no vertical threat. And I
mean, Miami didn't need to, but with the way we were playing, I'm like, I cannot believe, especially Shannon Dawson is not dropping back, throwing a couple of deep balls here. Because in today's world, 80% of the time you're going to get pass interference.
Yeah, it's a great idea. I mean, what do you have to lose?
But anyway, Kevin says on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, John Mateer has the goods. He has he is the best quarterback in America, in my opinion. That's why I picked him to win the Heisman this summer.
He had some good stats, but I will tell you that team that they played got screwed, and that team that they
See,
played,
that rule or whatever is bull crap, in my opinion.
yeah,
That
maybe.
is, I've seen
But
that
the
play
SEC
work in the
already admitted it,
NFL.
QB.
I've seen it work. That's on the coaches from the other team paying freaking attention to
I
what's
get it.
on the
I get
field.
it. But the league already admitted they messed
I know,
up.
but it's bull crap.
Okay, fine. It's bullcrap, but it is what it is. Auburn came to play that day, and they were all over
Auburn's
him.
very good.
Defensively, DJ Durkin was getting it done, man. And I watched that game, and I tell you, if I were a fan of Auburn's right now, I would think that the days are coming to where they're going to get back to being Auburn Tigers.
Yeah, Auburn, like I told you last year, they were that good on defense. They just could not get a first down last year.
They got a receiver this Cam, what's his name?
Dude, he was like the best freshman receiver in America last year. See, where you been?
He was AJ Brown yesterday.
Cam Coleman.
Yeah, he's a very good player. I like what I saw from Auburn, but they Oklahoma I got them at 17.5 to 1 to win the SEC. So I like my bet. I like my bet.
Electronics World, integration, design, special, smart home automation, and entertainment. It's that time of the year, folks. Let Electronics World bring the Florida Gators, college football, and the NFL to your living room. Electronicsworld.net. All right, let me read some of these texts. Josh from Wamama. Gentlemen, it pains me to say, but I'm not even excited to watch this team play anymore. I start watching in a depressed state, it seems. It's like an unemotional experience. Napier's a great person, but we need to change a head coach. Have a great day. Man, you'll have a new head coach next year.
Oh, it's a given. It's a given. Because they're not going to win many games, and you can't keep doing this. QB, spot the ball. Wasn't that what he said before the year? Spot the ball.
Yeah. I think that was their slogan. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Well, it sucks. It's too bad. Got to go through this again with this guy. But the administration has to take responsibility. They didn't get a guy that would bring Florida football to where we want it. So now you have to try again. You can't just quit. You got to try again. But the problem is, QB, we've only played 4 games. There's 8 more to go through. And when you look at that schedule, do you see 4 wins? I don't.
No.
The under's going to come in. They called it out there. So whatever.
Yeah. Toby says on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, Tristan Chambliss. That's Trinidad Chambliss.
Ole Miss.
QB transfer from Ferris State is putting some numbers up at Ole. Yes. That's where I'm not because he's at Ole Miss. I'm just saying there's so many good quarterbacks that do all the little things very well. But it's going to be interesting to see Ole Miss host LSU this week.
I like their chances.
I wonder who Lane's going to play at quarterback. He may play both. I don't know. I like Ole Miss. I think Ole Miss is the better team.
I agree. They're a 2.5-point favorite, or I think they're a favorite 2.5 points. They're at home though, and I was excited about going to the Grove since you brought up Ole Miss. Maybe I'll still go.
Why wouldn't you go? What does it matter what the team's records are, JC?
Doesn't. Yeah, you're right.
The Grove has always been the Grove, even when Ole Miss was Billy Brewer winning 2 games a year.
You're right. You're right. You're right. And I'm going to be up there in a box with some Mississippi alums, and I was going to wear my Florida hat. So we'll see.
Asa says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mellon Law, QB, my feelings are let them play out the year, see where they finish, and have the UAA talking to Jimmy Sexton. And let's try to chase the lane train.
That's what's going to happen.
That's already, I think all that is already in the works.
In the works, yeah. And again, it comes down to the timing. He's going to finish out this year. Here's why, because they would have already taken care of this over the weekend. But they're not. They're going to let it go. These players, I mean, they love their coaches. They're going to try to keep it the way it is. But, when DJ comes in with this somewhat, it feels almost disingenuous, but I know he's being serious when he says, listen, I'm committed to getting better and this and that. You can be that way. You can commit, but it doesn't mean that that's what's going to happen. I give him credit for trying and not giving up, and not blaming anybody else. I give him credit for that. But he's, the criticism is fair. When you're banking the kind of money he's banking and all of the other things, they're not college kids anymore. They're pros.
Yeah, they make a lot of money. All right, let's switch gears, JC. We'll talk a lot of Gators with Scott Carter. I mean, there's not really anything to say. I mean,
I just said
we're beating a dead horse. There were so many good games. Tony says here on YouTube, the ending of the Arkansas-Memphis game was crazy. Memphis QB looked very good, better than Lagway. I still to this, I saw the highlights, JC. Explain to me.
Mhm.
All Arkansas had to do was kick a field goal to win the game, right?
I believe that to be the
Okay.
case.
They lost 32-31,
Yeah.
and they fumbled with like 30 seconds to go
Hmm.
by handing the ball to the damn running back.
I know.
Okay. USF did the same stupid ass thing when they were trying to kick a field goal against us. They kept running their quarterback. When all
Yeah.
you do is you go to the middle of the field, you take a knee,
Go.
and then you kick the field goal and win it.
Unless you're the
You
Rams.
reduce the risk of turnover.
Yeah.
Well, Sam Pittman and them and Bobby Petrino, as much as I love him too, he should have said, "We're not running the damn. Quarterback's gonna take the ball and take a knee." So
Crazy. It's just absolutely
the
crazy.
Gators ain't the only ones doing dumb
And,
crap.
and sometimes I have one place to look at. That's the coach. He's in charge of this operation. I mean, it all starts and ends there. And we have to start holding these guys accountable. They make too much money
Yeah.
to be
Michael
idiots.
in Tennessee on the Titan Mark text line says, QB, do you travel with the team to Miami? If so, after the game, what was the attitude of the team? Look, all right, I'm going to explain to people how this works. I do. I'm on the team plane. We have 5 buses. You have, the offense, defense, special. I don't know what all the buses are. I'm on bus 5, which is good because it's not quite as crowded. It's more administrative, doctors, social media people. But the plane is crowded as hell. We sit in the back. Everybody on the entire plane, even these old people, these boosters that get on there, people they either have the things that Delta provides for you to put in your ears, or you have your earpods, iPods, whatever they're called.
Hmm.
Nobody talks. Whether you win a game, lose a game, because we have TVs. Like when we flew back the other night, I watched USC. I'm assuming they won that game, JC. They win that game?
USC, oh yeah.
Yeah. So I watched some of that game as I kind of fell asleep. But it's not like even when you win a game, there's no hooping and hollering or any of that kind of stuff. Everybody just puts their ear pods on and gets on the plane,
Interesting.
eats, and goes to bed.
Well, a 45-minute flight, I can see. A
But even if it
4-hour
was a
flight?
2-hour flight,
Really? It doesn't matter.
yeah, nobody does anything.
Well, I tell you, we have a week off now. I guess
We got a great weekend of college football.
it's outstanding games, and in the SEC alone, it's going to be a tremendous weekend. One guy here on YouTube wants to know what Corn Pile Mafia. Thank you, Corn Pile. What would the spread be if Vanderbilt played Florida? Vanderbilt be favored, but I don't know. I can't really say. Vanderbilt is just the definition of a team and a school that's just turned it around because of the leadership, and
the leadership, and they got a quarterback that's a competitor.
I used to absolutely just bury Vanderbilt on their lack of commitment to football. Well, somebody must have heard that because they started building a stadium, and then they started putting funds into the program, and then they started getting into the transfer portal. Those things can happen and turn your program around in a matter of months. It has happened all over America, and it can happen here at Florida. But the thing that has to happen is that they've got to get the right decision makers at the top to make that happen, to know what the plan is, not to just bury us with a lot of people doing a lot of things that probably don't matter with over bloated staffs. That we need to get better decision making going, and I know they know that. But the problem is when you hire somebody, you bring them in, you commit to them, you create a relationship, and you learn about personalities and people. It's hard to just cut them off. But this is a business, and
it's gone. Look, people can sit here and talk about
it's results.
We should have done this. We should have done that.
It's all about results, and we're not getting them.
Right. And so it's a simple fix.
Simple fix.
Fix.
You want to talk about? Yeah, I know, but he's not coming tomorrow. Sorry.
I know that. That's what I'm saying. I'm not worried about this year. I'm just saying it's a simple solution to the problem.
Well, I listen. You and I want Lane Kiffin to be the coach.
Well, you can't find a more simple solution.
Not a secret. Absolutely not a secret.
All right, this is a text here on the Titan No More text line. Good morning, Shane. I had FSU and Georgia fans tell me they felt sorry for us at church yesterday. We are getting rivals pity now. This ain't good, bud. But hey, in all kinds of weather.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. You love who you love your school, and it'll get better at some point. Look at what's going on in Tallahassee. That program has never hit the bottom like they did last year at 2-10, and now nobody even remembers that. And it's wonderful for them. and good for Miami as well. And they're going to battle next week. Is that next week?
No, they're off, and then they play
Okay.
Miami the
So
following
it's
week.
coming the following week. We've got so many good games. You wanted to talk about games, and you're right. You want to look at the league. By the way, before I get to that, how crazy was the NFL yesterday with the way
It was unbelievable. I've never seen so many blocked field goals.
Never seen something like that. Okay, so now we got that out of the way. And then, by the way, this is a big one. The Arizona Diamondbacks are one game behind in the National League wild card, just in case you're wondering about that. And where did the Iowa Hawkeyes find such a prolific offense against your Rutgers Scarlet Knights? And by the way, is anybody more upset than your beloved Clemson Tiger fan base?
Oh my goodness!
Goodness gracious, Dabo is hearing it right now, and so I think misery loves company. The misery index here.
I mean, everybody in the world, all the so-called experts, had Clemson definitely in the playoffs and going I think they most people predicted them to go undefeated this year.
Yeah, and easily walk away with the ACC. So it's going to be easy. They've got so much more talent than everybody else. They don't have anything.
They are very talented,
but they don't play good football. So you can be that, and then you can be a stiff on Saturday. Texas is all happy because they've beaten 3 high school teams in the last 3 weeks. They are going to be here in 2 weeks. LSU, yeah, you're right about that LSU Ole Miss game. What a party that's going to be at the Grove at 2:30 afternoon kickoff. And then I think it's going to be a big party for the folks in the Junction right down the road as Tennessee rolls into Starkville. And then you've got A&M and Auburn. Gee whiz. Then you've got Alabama and Georgia at 7:30. So these are and then Notre Dame and Arkansas to kick off the day. Had the over, by the way, in Notre Dame against.
So on Facebook Live, Dutch says, if you two are not talking Fire Napier, get off the air.
We have been. Well,
I don't even. I just wanted to read that because I think it's funny.
Well,
I think
Dutch, have Dutch been listening? We said that we want to see Lane Kiffin be the coach here.
And John Julian, who doesn't even have a picture, says Lane Kiffin is not coming here. Okay.
Okay. Well, listen, maybe not, but
he don't know. He doesn't know a damn thing. This is probably somebody from Ole Miss listening to the show.
No, and listen, if I'm an Ole Miss fan, I'd say hands off, get away from me. But I brought up some names last week. I brought up Sonny Dykes.
He ain't going nowhere.
But I'm telling you, this hire has got to be, like you said, it's the most prolific hire that we will see in the next. Well,
yeah.
If you want to see the last 15 years exemplifies how many failure checks have they written out. They're going to write. This is going to be their 4th.
It'll be the 5th. This will be the 4th in less than 15 years.
Right. So they're going to write that failure check. They're going to have to move off a lot of people, get the realtors all fired up because homes are going up for sale. And then you've got
This is the thing that drives me crazy, Jason. Sorry to interrupt you. 31 Ember says Billy beat Lane's best team. I don't give a damn. I look at the body of work.
He beat Kyle Winningham too. Do you care about that?
Yeah, that's the dumbest argument people can make. Right?
Anthony Richardson ran down the sideline. Are you still excited about that play?
Yeah. Play-by-play rules on YouTube brought to you by Quality Plumbing QB. The freshman QB for Texas Tech's a baller, has ice water in the veins. I think he's a sophomore because he played last year. 15 who came in the game to lead them to victory played some last year, but he still may have redshirted. Yeah. So the Joey McGuire story, people probably aren't familiar with it. I think I've talked about it on this. He was a high school coach for many, many years. Only coached college football as an assistant at Baylor for like 4. Texas Tech took a chance on him, and they spent a lot of money. But their 2 quarterbacks,
Matador
Johnny Manziel made over.
Well, now I don't know.
They're not going to win the Heisman because both of them are going to play. Yeah. The other guy was the starter. But I'm telling you, they are gunslingers, and they have that it factor and know how to play the position.
And all of a sudden, Texas Tech committed to the defensive side of the football, which was, give them credit. They went to Salt Lake City and dominated that game. And
they did. Even Kyle Winningham, I saw his presser. He goes, "Damn, we don't lose the battle in the trenches, but
they lost
their ass.
They lost, yeah, and it's okay. I mean, if you can admit that, then good for you. Get better. Utah's going to be a good football team. They'll be in the postseason. but Texas Tech is now a legit threat to win that Big 12 conference, 1,000%.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then, again, you look at Oklahoma State and how pathetic they've become. You look at Clemson and where they are right now. What's going on here at Florida has not really changed in a long time. So we're kind of seeing that transpire. There will be changes. It will happen. You just got to get the right people in here. We said it over and over again. The question is going to be, you got to let Scott Strickland pick the next guy. Do you really want him picking the next guy? He picked a basketball coach. Great. He's gotten a job. He's gotten a promotion. Wonderful. Is that who you want picking your football coach? We'll see.
JC, what was the biggest, before we let you go, what was the biggest surprise in college football to you?
Well,
which game?
Well,
I'll tell you which one. I'll tell you.
Well, you go ahead and tell me yours. I was watching all of them, but
the Hoosiers.
Indiana just dominated that game.
First of all, somebody was telling me after our game,
mm-hmm.
It was another one of the radio broadcast national
mm-hmm.
crews up there.
Mm-hmm.
They said that this Mendoza kid that
mm-hmm.
transferred from Cal to Indiana.
Yeah. One another story. Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying. Nobody knows who he is, but he knows how to play quarterback.
I guess, to me, there weren't a whole lot of great surprises. That's a good one you just said. But I was impressed with Auburn and the way they went into Norman, Oklahoma, and they were unafraid. Real quick, shout out. They were not.
Why were they going to be afraid, Jason?
Well, I meant that in a somewhat of a facetious way. But big shout out to my man Jeff Thiemann. Who is Jeff Thiemann? The Chief Operating Officer of Campus USA Credit Union, sitting with me, watching our Huskers, his Huskers. I rooted with him, lose to Michigan by 3. Great guy. Thank you for sponsoring our show. Thank the old ball coach for throwing an account in there. And Campus USA, Jeff was a great guy to watch football with Saturday. His lovely wife, Jody, was there with me. So go Campus USA, go Jeff, go Jody, go Huskers, go Big Red.
I got to answer this, or I'm going to let you answer it for me. This John guy on Facebook Live that says Lane not coming here, he wants me to give him a reason why Lane would leave what he has. He obviously doesn't listen to this program ever because he doesn't have a picture here.
Well, hey, we all welcome new viewers, QB.
Right, but no, that's right. But I'm gonna do it real quick. It's the Southeastern Conference, which he's in already. I am an Ole Miss. People that watch this program normally know that I have a deep, deep roots with the Ole Miss Rebels, the University of Mississippi. The brands are no comparison. There's no comparison in the brands. You can only do so much at Ole Miss, and what he has done has been phenomenal. And they still have a very good team this year. I think they have a very good chance to make the playoffs. All right.
What else can you do?
Lane is like a lot of great coaches. They have huge egos. Lane is as close, I've said it multiple times, Lane is as close to Coach Spur as you're going to find. He loves to have fun while kicking your ass.
Close in terms of personality and that kind of thing.
Personality, offensive mind.
Mm-hmm.
He is going to have an offense. He's going to have quarterbacks. Trinidad Chambliss, Ferris State University. It's a good Division II program. They win a lot of games.
Yeah.
But Kenneth says character flaws with Lane. Okay, well, you can look at that about every damn football coach or basketball coach or baseball coach.
Nobody cares about that in Nobody cares about what happened 10 years ago.
It is the time.
Nobody cares.
To put all that aside and look at the body of work.
Yeah. That's
going to win football games. Win a lot.
You got to have results in this business, and they know it. We'll see if they follow through. They will. It's the writing's on the wall. We're not going to see
it. We need not get Lane. I will tell you this. Lane knows how far he can go at Ole Miss, right? I think there's 2 jobs that Lane would ever leave for.
Alabama
and Ole Miss.
Florida, you said.
I mean, Alabama and Florida. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's possible. That's who we've been pumping up. But I think we have to keep our minds open. Remember who's going to be making this hire. It's not us. I don't even know, still don't know what the name of the new president is, QB. And that's on me. But the fact is that he's brand new. That guy's going to have a decision. He's going to be also involved in this decision. So there's going to be a lot of decisions. We know who we want, but we are not running this show here, QB.
Yeah, we're not. I'm just giving my opinion because I feel like I know when I look at what the product on the field is, and somebody's talking about here, John Gruden. John Gruden has zero chance of being the coach.
It is what they are. What they are, QB. It's
I
what
mean,
you always say.
we want people that wing. John Gruden, he wanted. I don't even go there. We got to go to Scott.
Florida is what it is. Billy
Yeah.
is who he is. It's not changing. They are starting to understand that now. The results are playing that out. We will have a change by the end of the season.
All right, JC, good work. We'll see you on Wednesday.
All right.
That's JC. Join us on the Titan More Highline. Whew.
You got a whole week of this coming, bro.
Hey, we're going to talk about a lot of other schools. I can promise you that because this is the best weekend in college football coming up.
I agree.
All right, we got to get to Scott Carter. We're going to take a quick timeout. We'll be right back.
Our premium sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union,
International Diamond Center,
Meldon Law, UF Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute, JF Hayden Craft Liqueurs, Florida Cracker Kitchen, Los Linderos Tequila. Gridiron sponsors are Baker Sporting Goods, Comfort Temp, Electronics World, Florida Victorious, Gallo Car Wash, Miapa Latin Cafe, Peachland Dental, Quality Plumbing, Ruse Ogre State Farm, Silverback Concrete, 84 Lumber, Big Meals Cheesesteak, Celebrate Primary Care, Dowling Sign, Gator Bait Media, Gator Dominoes, Ironwood Golf Course, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, UF Bookstores, Nest and Wow, MG&A Wealth Management. Watch and listen to us live on Facebook and YouTube. Listen to the podcast whenever on Apple or Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. To become a sponsor, call my man Freddie at 352-284-3733.
Coach, you know what always impressed me? How you beat Florida State to win the 1996 national championship.
And I was really impressed with your 06, 08, and 09 Gator teams.
And the way you coached Danny to the Heisman Trophy.
A lot like what you did with Tim Tebow.
You know, you won more SEC championships than you lost home games at the Swamp.
And you had plenty of super games in front of our Gator Nation.
Yeah, there really is something special about the Swamp.
I guess that's why we say about the Swamp, only the Gators get out alive.
To the Swamp and the Gators, with the best beverage served at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, 100% agave, Los Linderos tequila, aged in bourbon barrels for a smoother taste.
I think you mean head beer coach, 1966 lager, a crisp, light, bodied lager for easy drinking.
Nope. Los Linderos tequila, smooth enough to drink neat and bold enough to elevate a cocktail.
1966 lager, enjoyed on game days in the fall or whenever you need a winning cold brew.
Los Linderos tequila.
1966 lager.
Los Linderos.
1966 lager.
Y'all stop bickering.
Okay, you're both wrong anyway. The best thing Spurrier's Gridiron Grill offers are Jerry's famous chocolate chip cookies.
Hi there, this is Coach Steve Spurrier, and I want to let you know that by popular demand, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill's delicious brunch is now served in a premium buffet. You have spoken, we have listened, and we're now serving Gainesville's only elevated buffet, complete with an omelet station, ginger sage chicken sausage, shredded short rib, and of course our chicken and waffles. Plus, you can enjoy bottomless mimosas and Bloody Marys. So join us every Saturday and Sunday from 11 to 3 for the best brunch in town.
What's up, everyone? I'm Mike Pouncey, and this is my twin brother Marquise Pouncey, and this is Life After Football.
Let's go. We are the owners of Tropical Distillery, and JF Hayden's is our liqueur brand.
We have 5 different flavors: a mango, a lychee, an espresso, citrus, and key lime pie. We pride ourselves on not only being a Florida-made brand, but also a cocktail solution. With that being said, cheers
And go Gators.
Welcome back to the International Diamond Center Studios. Gallo Car Wash, locally owned by UF alum and the only car wash that provides NIL opportunities to Gator athletes. Locations on Northwest 13th Street, Wilson Road, and coming soon to Jonesville. Let's go back to the Titan MR hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. We're joined by a senior writer from FloridaGators.com, Scott Carter. Good morning, Scott. How you doing?
Hey, good morning, Shane. Doing well, man. Just another Monday morning, getting ready to get rolling.
I will say I'm tired of the 7:30 road kickoffs because it wears on people. I'm exhausted.
Yeah, I was. As before we came on here, I actually drove down, which is unusual. And I'd left after the game, and I was thinking I'd stop in West Palm or somebody, maybe Vero Beach. I just kept driving. Finally got home about 5:45 yesterday morning. So I feel you, man. I know Sunday happened, but I don't remember a lot about it.
Exactly. All right, Scott, just give me your thoughts. I mean, that was an ugly, ugly game. It went kind of exactly how I thought it might go. I was extremely concerned about us blocking them and them pressuring us from their D line. Just your overall thoughts of the game.
Yeah, I think it was reminiscent in some ways of last year's game at the Swamp against Miami. I just thought that Miami was much better on both lines of scrimmage than Florida was. I thought they were more physical, and that made a difference, especially in the Miami running game. They controlled the clock at times with their running game, especially in the first half. And there'd be times where you thought the play was over, and the line would just keep blocking Florida's tacklers another 5 or 6 yards in the pile, and those things add up. And of course, offensively, I mean, Florida really didn't have much of an answer for anything. You go 0 for 13 on third downs. Beat DJ Lagway, passed for 61 yards. I think his longest completion was 8 yards. You're not gonna beat a good team like Miami that way. And obviously, Miami jumped 2 more spots in the AP top 25, and they're ranked number 2 in the country now. And they look like a team that could be dangerous come college football playoff time. And Florida obviously looks like a team kind of in disarray going into the bye week, Shane. And they've got a lot of work to do to try to figure some things out and see if they can pull something together like they did last year coming out of the bye week when they did play much better. But a lot of questions right now, Shane.
We had a question here on Facebook Live brought to you by Mel Law. Was Aiden Mizell hurt?
What I do not know that. We were trying to figure that out. There was never an official announcement in the press box, and of course, after the game, kind of chaotic down there. It was just one of those questions that didn't come up. So I don't know if he was hurt, if he's suspended, or what. But I was surprised he didn't play. If he was hurt, it was certainly a late week or pre-game situation because there was no kind of a heads up that he was not going to be available for that game.
Yeah, I mean, I noticed early in the game he was on the sidelines. He never had his helmet. He was dressed out, but even when you're a backup or a sub, you always have your helmet on or you're holding it. He never had his helmet. So, as you said, he was
Yeah,
either suspended or hurt, one or the other.
yeah. Either way, I think they may have needed more to make Aiden Mizell in that game.
We got a text here on the Titan Mark text line. It says Lane is the obvious choice for the next coach here. God forbid he doesn't want to come. Would we try to get Dabo to come here? He seems to be frustrated and they seem to be ready to kick him out the door. I mean, it's possible. I mean, we can go over a list here in a minute, but in the meantime, um, gosh, I had a question for you here, Scott, and I lost it.
It's
I
like I
think I
said, it's
think
Monday morning.
I said this earlier, and I was thinking about it on the plane ride or the bus ride and the plane ride coming back. People, I know this has nothing to do with play calling, okay? It's just what my eyes have shown me. We have not gotten a whole lot of separation a lot on our pass plays. And I was thinking, maybe we didn't realize how good Chim DK and Elijah Badger were as college players.
Yeah. Well, I think there's some truth there. I mean, those guys obviously came in as veterans. They were productive at their previous schools, and I think they improved last year with the Gators. Now you're dealing with a lot of young receivers. I mean, obviously Sturtevant from UCLA, who was hurt late in the game, but he's a veteran. But for the most part, you've got Eugene Wilson, who still doesn't have a ton of snaps in his career because of injuries. Pernell Brown the third, and T.J. Abrams, and all these younger receivers. It's something that was pointed out to me during the game the other day that Florida has really dropped off significantly with is downfield blocking from the receivers. That's another area that I think the last couple of years they were pretty good. this year, I think that's an area that's really suffered because they just don't have a lot of experience in some of those spots. And, so yeah, I mean, it's a good point. I think it's fair. Obviously, Vernell Brown III to me has been the most productive player consistently on the roster so far.
Agree.
It's just that one guy can't do it, and you've got to have that unit work, and you've got to have every guy working on offense to find the rhythm, and that's been the dominant theme in these first 4 games. They've just been unable to find any rhythm offensively, and that's whether it's the receivers not getting separation, the offensive line, committing costly penalties, DJ Lagway being inaccurate or just unable to throw down the field like we saw in the past, or getting the running game going consistently. I mean, I thought the running game was going to be huge on Saturday night, and they come out in that first drive and they run 3 plays and lose, 5 yards. And that was just, to me, I mean, it was Miami just being more physical and maybe Florida being predictable, but Miami still had to make those plays.
Yeah. Rod on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, says, Shane, would Jed Fish come back to UF if given the opportunity? Would it mean more to him to come back to his own? Jed would be here in a heartbeat. They ain't hiring Jed Fish. I like Jed, but they're not hiring him for sure. Justin says, QB, come on. Nobody knows who Ole Miss's, Tennessee's, or FSU receivers are, and they're lighting it up. Well, I guarantee you their fan base knows it. You don't know it. I can promise you that I could text several people in Mississippi. They would not know who Trey Wilson and Vernell Brown. I think fans don't understand that there are a lot of good players around America, right? I would say the Oregon Ducks have a lot of talented receivers. I couldn't name one. I can only name one of Ohio State's, Jeremiah Smith. But I hear what you're saying, but it goes back to my discussion with JC at the beginning of the program. Too many people in the Gator Nation label DJ as this generational player, whatever that means. I still don't know what that means. But there are so many good quarterbacks around America that people don't know who they are because all y'all worry about is your team, which is perfectly fine. But watch other games and you'll see that there are really good players around America.
All right. That's fandom, right? Everybody's kind of got their lens on toward their team, and I'll be one of the first to raise my hands that, I remember even tweeting after one of his performances last year that, I've seen enough that I was all in because I just like the way he handled himself in the spotlight for a, freshman, and, he showed me enough on the field that I thought he would improve. And I just think now in retrospect, I mean, you just can't put enough emphasis on how important it is for, especially at that position. You have to be plugged in on the field, being able to do things physically 24/7, 365 to be the kind of player that you have to be at that position.
Yeah. And I firmly believe this. If you go back and watch DJ, I felt like he kind of ad-libbed. I don't want to say ad-libbed last year because that's not fair, but he completed so many balls down the field, and I've told people on this program, deep throws are the easiest and safest throw of football. There's really no read. You play action, you come back, you may look at one safety and fire it down the right side, or you look off a safety and you fire it down the middle of the field on a post. I think teams are taking all that away. They're forcing him to read coverage. Anyway, let's see here. Zach T wants to know who Lane's offensive coordinator is, as he had it the same one the entire time at Ole Miss. No, he's not. He's the guy that calls the plays, but Jeff Levy was one of his offensive coordinators at one time. Charlie Weiss Jr. is who's now been there the last 2 or 3 years when Levy left to go to Oklahoma. Now Levy's at Mississippi State. So it's the same system. They all run it. So anyway, that answers your question. Scott, we got a question here on Facebook Live brought to you by Mel Law from Chris. He says, at what point does Strickland pull the trigger and fire Billy? I really don't understand what he's waiting for. Billy is wasting a great defense. I don't think we're great on defense, quite honestly. I'll give you my thoughts on that in a minute because his offense is horrendous and he's an offensive guru. in quotations.
Yeah, I mean,
You don't know when the right time is to fire a coach.
Yeah, that's a $20 million question right now. I get asked all the time, whether it's my next door neighbor on your show here, and I don't have that answer. I mean, if I'm Scott Strickland this morning, I'm probably okay with just seeing where this goes for a little while because it's so important. Here's the way things work. These players, they played 4 games. So if they were to, let's say, fire him right now, a lot of guys, like you saw up at Virginia Tech, they might just bail. I think they were without, a dozen starters the other day in their game after they fired their coach after 3 games. Because if you play 4 games or less, you can, still have a redshirt year. So I'm sure they're hoping to, some guys stay committed and get this thing turned around. And they have a bye week here. Last year they proved in the bye week that they did make some positive changes, and they came out and beat UCF and Kentucky, and should have beaten Tennessee, quite frankly, and were leading Georgia until DJ got hurt. So, I guess what I'm saying is I probably wouldn't be in a hurry either if I was the AD because of some of the factors I just mentioned. I get where the fan base is, but is it wise as an organization to do it right now? Maybe not. So that's just kind of trying to let people know what some of the other issues that may be in consideration right now, besides just how the team's playing.
Scott, are you surprised? I guess with all the hype that the offensive line was getting in the preseason summertime, Pro Football Focus had them in the top 5 in America. They've really been pushed around in every game we've played this year.
Yeah, I mean, I knew that I thought that with just the veterans, I thought that they would be a solid offensive line. But yeah, the hype did surprise me a little bit. But I'm also one of those people, Shane, at this point in life, I don't really pay much attention to the hype. I know that's how the websites and stuff, gets the fans engaged. But every school, if you go to these sites, they all have the same stories. This guy's going to be great. We're going to be a lot better there. That's just the nature of, preseason. But, did I think they would be better than they have been? I thought they would be more consistent than they have been. I've been a little surprised that just the rash of penalties. Every game there's a offensive line penalty or two that seems to stall a drive, and we saw that again the other night. And they were 0 for 13 on third down, so they're just not doing well there as a unit. I think they're now ranked 121st in the country. They're only converting about 31% of third downs. That's just not good enough. So that's partly due to some offensive line play. It's certainly not all on the offensive line. There's a lot of factors there. But if you are an elite offensive line, I think you're ranked higher in some of those offensive categories than probably I just mentioned.
Injury-wise, I believe it was Dijon Johnson. Was it ACL or have they said anything?
Nothing's official yet, but yeah, it looked like knee. I mean, Dijon Johnson got hurt. Brendan Bett, he left the field on crutches with the brace on his right knee. Obviously, Aaron Gates is going to be out an extended time. It looks like he was in a sling. But they really got beat up. Sturdivant, I don't know nothing official on him either, but just based on all the look of what was going on, maybe concussion protocol or something the other day when he left. So yeah, there's just a lot of people banged up, and they already had some injuries with Banks and Oru, and that's another hurdle that this team's going to have to find a way to clear as they try to get back on track, Shane.
Yeah, before we let you go, Scott, what else is going on campus? I think everybody's anything good going on campus right now? How's volleyball doing? I haven't even followed it.
Well, volleyball had a road trip up to Wisconsin. They lost yesterday. They had a road trip up north to Marquette, Wisconsin. They dropped both. I still think they're obviously an NCAA tournament team. And the new coach, he wanted to take them up there and test them against some of those programs he's familiar with, playing against Marquette, his old school. So I think they've won some big ones. They've lost some tough ones. I still think they'll be a factor in the SEC in the postseason. Soccer is kind of struggling right now. I haven't looked on the website to see what they did yesterday, but they lost a couple in a row. So yeah, it's starting off a little rocky here, but luckily there's a lot of teams, and guess what? Men's basketball opens practice today, I think, and they're national champions. So got some good stuff coming up, Shane.
That's right. Any good stories that folks can go to the website and check out that you're working on?
I mean, obviously I'll have some stuff on just, football through the bye week. I will bounce around. I'll probably go to volleyball and try to find a story. Right. And of course, Chris Harry is all over the basketball team. Wrote the big story last week on Vernon Maxwell having his records restored. I thought that was a pretty cool thing because of a certain age, I remember Vernon Maxwell very well, and I still consider him probably the best player in school history. So I was glad to see that kind of reconcile. And he was in town over the weekend. They had a big reunion, I think Friday night, with all these former players. Vernon Maxwell was back, and man, it was cool I saw a couple of photos. Cool to see him back around the Gators because, my gosh, it's been a long time.
Yeah, I saw a lot of those pics too, and it was very cool. I think that's their first reunion they ever had from all different eras, and Lon Kruger was there with the first Final Four team, so it was pretty cool. Scott, good stuff as always, my man. Appreciate your time. Get some rest, and we'll talk to you maybe next week.
All right, Shane. Have a good one, buddy.
That's Scott Carter from FloridaGators.com, senior writer. Join us on the Titan More Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Town. Chris says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel Law, why would Lane leave Oxford for Gainesville? How about we go pay a Brian Hartline type of coach rather than constantly looking at Lane, who has proven that he can't win big games and titles, much like Billy. Chris, I don't know who you are or where you watch, but I don't care about anybody about winning titles. There's only a handful of coaches that have won titles, and they're probably not going to leave their damn school. But you're starting over with Brian Hartline. I think he's calling plays this year, and they're not very good on offense. So the answer to that is that ain't happening. Look, I don't know if we're going to get Lane or not, but I think it's a no-brainer. I don't think there's a better option in the last 15 years that fits what the Florida fan base likes, wants, and has done in the past. And the reason he would leave Oxford, which is a great town to live in, quite honestly, Ole Miss is a great school. You can only do so much there. The brands are not even close. So I don't know if you just tuned in, but I have preached that multiple times. Yeah, Wally Gator says enough about Brian. Yeah, I mean, you're not going to hire anybody that's not been a head coach and won football games. That's simple. It's just, I don't know if I've ever seen a more simple solution to a problem in my life. But anyway, injuries do occur whenever and however, and it's never convenient. For sprains, strains, or minor fractures, UF Health Orthocare makes it convenient for you 7 days a week, including evenings, and walk-ins are welcome. Appreciate everybody chiming in. We'll be here tomorrow. It's going to be a long week, but it's a great week for college football this weekend. Probably the best weekend we've had so far. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care.